going to show you guys how to breed Dubia roaches faster. So as stated, I'm going to teach you guys everything you need to know for how to breed Dubia roaches the fastest way. And I need to do this because this dude consumes a lot.
And here's a proof that this does work. This is a month old from 5 females. As you can tell, look how fast they're growing. It really does work. How many there is as well. Absolute abundance of Dubia roach babies. Look at how big some of them are already. And that's all from following these steps. So make sure you watch this video right the way to the end if you want to learn absolutely everything to be able to breed your Dubia roaches quicker.
So there is a science behind this. And when you really think about the science behind it, it's amazingly simple to follow. So make sure you stay tuned right to the end because we're going to have loads of hints and tips the whole way through this video. But to start off, welcome to Northern Exotics. We're a pet YouTube channel that absolutely thrives and loves to educate everybody on the correct care for loads of different animals and loads of ways to save you money. If that's something you're interested in, please consider subscribing. So let's start off with how to breed Dubia roaches. It's actually quite simple, very cheap and easy to do, and well worth doing it because it saves an absolute fortune in the long run. Let's go over to my Dubia roach colony. How to breed Dubia roaches generally is quite actually simple. You've got a tub. They can't climb up the plastic surface, so you can have any sort of tub. I like to have egg crates where they stack vertically or slightly horizontally, but layer them together so there's an absolute ton of little nooks and crannies that they can hide in because they absolutely love it dark. If you want to breed these the fastest way, top tip number 1 in this video is get a dark container. This isn't a dark container. Get one that's totally blacked out because they thrive in the dark conditions. First top tip will get you a lot quicker production just simply because they feel a lot safer. Let's face it, they won't have babies in the wild if they don't feel safe for the babies. But that's one of the science behind it. I'll move on to the next throughout this video. But I've got the egg crates all stacked up slightly diagonally. There's no real need for that, it's just because they don't fit vertically. But they all scurry between there. You want a male to female ratio of 5 females to 1 male. And there's a couple of reasons for that and why it speeds up the progression of babies. Now, if you've got 5 females and 1 male, that male's got to go in between each one of those females constantly. Now, if you've only got 2 females and 1 male, he's going to constantly be pestering them both. And you don't want that because they'll get the females will get stressed out, they'll get pestered, they won't want to lay healthy egg sacs, and it just increases your production tenfold. It's such a quicker way to do it is to have 5 females to 1 male. This is how you sex your Dubia roaches if you don't know already. Now, this one is a male Dubia roach. You can see that the wings span the entire length of the body. They are a little bit longer and a little bit slimmer than the females. Now this one here, this is a female Dubia roach and it's a lot wider. It's got short little stubby wings on the sides of it. That's how you tell. Now like I say, 5 females to 1 male, and you want to have a big group if you really want a fast production. You guys want to strive to have 50 females to 10 males. Now when I'm doing it at a scale like that, I like to add 2 more males in, just in case one of the males die, then it doesn't overwork the rest of the males to get around all those females. That's a way how you guys can get a guaranteed success rate from near enough every female in your colony. The next step on how you can produce Dubia roaches a lot faster is simply heat. Thermoregulation. Now you've already got heat on your colony because that's how you breed Dubia roaches. You need a little bit of heat, especially here in the UK where the climate is a bit cooler. So for my Dubia colony, I've got a hot side here on my bearded dragon's enclosure. This here is my bearded dragon's enclosure. His hot spot is directly in the middle, directly underneath there. The heat radiates through here into the bottom of that colony, and it works for me. It really does work well. Now you can have loads of extra different styles of heat. You can have a full heat bulb set up on the top. You can have a heat mat or an under the tank heater underneath the tank. I'd always thermostatically regulate it at no hotter than 90 degrees Fahrenheit, just because you don't want to cook them. That little bit extra temperature really does help, along with that little bit extra humidity. So once a week, I just go in and give it a quick spray down, nothing special, nothing fast, just a quick spray down, add a little bit of humidity in there, and that helps them with shedding. If they shed, they'll mature quicker and potentially breed a lot quicker. I get that that was just a tip on how to grow them a little bit quicker, but if they grow a bit quicker, then they're definitely going to breed a lot quicker. But the next step is when you do get babies, separate the babies from the adults. Up here in this top tub is my babies. Now if you separate the babies from the adults have stopped caring about the babies because they've got motherly instincts like every mother, animal or human, and they're going to be caring for the babies instead of concentrating on breeding for the next set of babies. So if you guys get the babies out, stick them into another container, a similar setup, and feed them, grow them, all that sort of stuff, then they're going to concentrate on growing up to be your future breeders or your feeders, and these guys are going to concentrate on the next breed around. They're going to start recovering in a quiet little nook and cranny where they can't get disturbed by the males, and then they're going to start concentrating back on breeding for more babies. And then on to the diet of the Dubia roaches. Now it's always been known quite widely and quite openly that oranges get the females a bit frisky and get them going. So I've always used orange. Now the problem with using oranges to feed your Dubia roaches, that's great for breeding Dubia roaches, but you have to clean that orange and that citrus out of your Dubia roach before you feed it to your animals, because citrus can be quite deadly to other reptiles like bearded dragons. The main purpose of an orange is the moisture, the rehydration of the animal. That's the main purpose of it, but it does get them a bit frisky. It's a bit of an aphrodisiac for Dubia roaches. Clean them out before you actually feed them off. So stick them in, the ones that you want to feed off a week before, stick them into a different container, feed them on apple or something like that, and that'll get them going for that. But feed them on oranges and roach chow. If you want to learn how to make roach chow, I've stuck a card in the section just up here. Click on that, that'll take you through to a video of how to make roach chow. But the roach chow I feed is basically dog biscuits with a few little added extras and stuff like that. It's extremely high in protein, it's extremely high in potassium and fibre, which is a great all-round diet for these guys. But the science behind that is quite simple. In the wild, they will reabsorb the eggs into their body. They will absorb the eggs back into their body to use the calcium that's in the egg sac for their own bodily functions. Now, in the wild, if they've not got enough food around them to sustain these babies, then they won't lay the eggs. That is a vitally important fact. It's a scientifically proven fact. In the wild, they will not lay the eggs if there's not enough food around for the babies. So if you keep a massive amount of food in there, fresh food, so constantly cycling the food, the females will feel secure in laying the eggs. They will lay eggs, and not just some eggs, they will lay a lot of eggs. So you are not only breeding faster, you're also breeding more. Do not feed your Dubia roaches calcium, and that is extremely important, and this is why. Calcium is a supplement aimed to strengthen bones, and we all know that. It's in milk and we drink it, and metabolic bone disease, we've all got information on that and all that sort of stuff. Now, with insects and bugs, just like Dubia roaches, they have an exoskeleton. Their skeleton, their bone, is on the outside of their body. As they grow, they need to shed that body off. They need to get rid of that skeleton so that they can continue to grow. Every time they molt their skin off, they get a new skin. If you feed them a calcium-rich diet, your insects are not going to be able to molt. They're going to end up dying inside the molt. Now, it's a good theory. Feed them calcium so you don't have to cover them in calcium dust to feed to various animals. So it is extremely important to not feed your Dubia roaches calcium supplements. If your animal needs calcium, then sprinkle them with calcium dust, calcium supplements, nutrient supplements, all that sort of stuff. That's what those products are invented for, so make sure you use them correctly. It's also exactly the same if you feed a calcium supplemented Dubia roach to your tarantula's exoskeleton is going to harden and he's not going to be able to molt. So it's extremely important to not feed your Dubia roaches or any feeder insects anything calcium related. So it is an extremely important fact for you. If you feed them a lot and make sure there is a massive abundance of food, they will produce better and faster. So a quick recap. Dark container so they feel secure. Loads of egg crates so they can scurry between them and feel secure. Loads of food, decent amount of heat, and a little bit of humidity is all you need, and it's so simple for you to be able to breed your Dubia roaches a lot faster.
And here's the proof of the pudding, guys. These are a month old. Look at how fast they're growing already. Look at them. Absolutely amazing, loads of them. 1 month worth of babies from 12 females.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. If you want to subscribe to my channel, click on that little circle just there. If you want to watch more videos, here's one up here of how to breed your Dubia roaches, and here's another one of how to set the Dubia colony up. Thanks again, guys. Peace out.